We're now joined by Ben McCollum, the head coach at Drake. They're in. They've punched their ticket. He has been he has been incredibly successful throughout his career, and he joins us on 365 Sports. Coach, thank you very, very much for your time. You knew when you took that program, Drake's got some history, but what did you think you could do quickly? Because it seemed like no matter what, you've always won.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily our intent to come right in and do that. Our whole deal was to make sure that we build a program for the future. And, I think we just took tough kids. We took kids that wanted to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And it just.
Coach, you have had several long winning streaks during the season. Are you a coach that, do you not talk about them? Do you just do it? Or is it one of those things where you do mention like, hey guys, we're not losing. Do you lean into it? How do you deal with that? Because it's a tricky thing.
We don't talk much about winning and losing. So, whether it's a streak, I'm honestly, half the time I don't even know our record. I think that too often people get excited about results, which is great. And obviously that's what you're trying to achieve is a certain result. I think when you try so hard to achieve those results, I think a lot of times you stop focusing on the process of what is going on. And for us, we really try to focus on that process. And we know that if we invest in that as much as possible, then those results will continue to come like we want. But no, I don't pay attention much to it. I also, through winning championships, I also understand it's exciting for everybody. The head coach, it's probably not as exciting. I hate to say it. It's probably, it's more exciting to come to a practice and have a really good practice and go home in a good mood. Like that's where I get my excitement from, is just that, the simple things, the little things that go on throughout a day.
When you mentioned the process, and you also mentioned you're not so much looking at what you do this year or the long term and trying to make sure the foundation is solid, concrete, steel, whatever, and not maybe fragile. How difficult is that in today's environment of college athletics in the transfer portal? Does that affect Drake even more? Because if you're good, then the schools above you, at least in their size, may say, okay, let's go get those guys.
Oh, yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, I mean, the more success, the more it's going to cost you at the mid-major level, essentially. And the harder it is to continue the success. But that's also why you get the right kids. Mm-hmm. And so if you can get the right kids and then you use your NIL to try to retain those kids, I think a lot of times they see the benefits of being in a program for multiple years and really developing and really being with somebody that really cares for them. I do think there are, some kids that still want that and they still want to be a part of a place that really values them as people, not just as a commodity. And, and that's what we sell to kids. And a lot of times it does work out for us pretty good.
Your third year in a row that Drake will be in the NCAA tournament, first with you there, Coach Ben McCollum with us on 365 Sports. But at my age, I was 10 years old when Drake started a 3-year run of getting to the NCAA tournament and once played against the great UCLA teams of John Wooden. So there is some history there. Does it help when there is some history like that, or does that really matter?
I think it was more the initial. First off, my real estate agent was Rick Wanamaker, who was on that teim. So,
okay, there you go.
But there you go. Yeah, there's a name. But no, I think it was probably the recent history with Coach DeVries, and then I think he had some success, and so then obviously put us on the map, and then you just have to that success. Obviously, we didn't have any of his. We have only 2 of his former players, but I do think it does put you on the map to be able to recruit a little better. The other thing that did help, and everything's player driven and everything's personnel driven. Well, when we when they built a practice facility and lounge here and allowed our guys to hang out a bunch about 7 or 8 years ago, there's no coincidence that they've won for 7 or 8 years. And then they've got the right athletic director, they've got the right president. And so it's all people driven. That's allowed for the success. And then obviously when you have a little bit of success, then people want to join that, and it puts you on the map, which has happened. And obviously now we're able to continue that.
What is, you were at the Division II level for a long time. What was the starkest difference, and what are the things that are kind of silly when like people say, oh, well, it's totally different on this level, that it's not really that different?
To be your best requires commitment, dedication, and intensity. It's what defines elite athletes and inspires Airwaav to find new ways to optimize your performance. Introducing Airwaav Recovery, a mouthpiece designed to work while you sleep to further unlock your potential. Airwaav Recovery features our patented reflex technology, small, integrated bumps uniquely positioned to activate your tongue's natural response. Your tongue will instinctively move forward, opening your airway and improving your quality of sleep. And thanks to our patented fitting material and a purpose-designed support wall, you'll enjoy a secure, comfortable fit all night long. With Airwaav Recovery, you sleep better and recharge faster. Airwaav Recovery, recharge your potential.
Yeah, so kind of answer the second question first. I think like where there's no difference and maybe even there's a slight difference the other direction. And I say this with all humility and all due respect because there's really good coaches everywhere. There's a lot of good Division I coaches, and there's a lot of, there's a handful that we played this year that were fantastic and just as good as any coach that I've ever faced. But I will say the Division II coaches that I faced for years and years and years were just as good, if not better. Just from a coaching X's and O's standpoint, and now the difference is every team's going to have 8 really good players. I mean, and at Division II they might have 4, and so then you're able to do certain things defensively and offensively and isolate individuals. But at this level, it's more difficult to do that because there's better players. But I do feel like the coaches, because they have to adapt to their personnel constantly at Division II, where a lot of times better than not all the coaches that I've faced at this level, but quite a few of them.
Did you smile as you watched what Kurt Cignetti was doing at Indiana, which is somewhat similar what we see at the college football level with coaches who have had success elsewhere? Then they go to what is the FBS in football, and it just the success continues?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you have somebody that comes from lower levels, you certainly want them to have success because they can do it and they can coach. Part of me, though, is I just like when good people have success, regardless of what level they're from. And if they do things for the right reasons and send the right messages to whatever community they're in, I think that's probably more important than whatever level they come from. There's, I probably cheer for my buddies more than anybody, and then I cheer for good people second. And my buddies are good people too. But so, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of Division II that you'd be surprised. One of my good friends, Grant McCollum, he was a D2 guy and JUCO guy, and then one of his staff members, Jeff Linder, was at Emporia State before I was at Emporia State. Like, he was an assistant there. That's how he got his start and played D2. And so, like, you can go down the list of a variety of people that have come from lower levels that have had a lot of success. And, we certainly take pride in that.
Did you bring up Grant McCaslin?
Yeah, we know him. We know him well.
Yeah, we're in Waco, and obviously got to know him quite well when he was on Scott Drew's staff for a long, long time.
Yeah, Grant's one of my Grant and Jeff Linder. Pretty close with them. So real close with them actually. I talk to Jeff about every single day, and Grant as often as head coaches, as often as us head coaches can talk.
Coach, you guys have a really good 9-player rotation of guys that play significant minutes, almost 10 minutes a night or more. How much has that enabled you to keep pace with a grueling season and all that? Because some teams only go 7 deep or can only really have a 7-man rotation. The other 2 guys might play 2 or 3 minutes because of foul trouble or just somebody needs to get water. You guys have 9 guys that can roll in and out and play significant minutes.
Yeah, so I will tell you this. We have 3 guys that play 40 minutes a game. So Bennett Sturts leads the country in minutes. The second leading minute guy in the country is Mitch Muscari, who's on our team. And then Daniel Abreu has to be up there as well. But in saying that, after that, we certainly, those 3 spots, we go a little bit with the hot hands. Obviously Tavion Banks has really played well, so he'll be at that 25-minute mark, and then Kim Manyao. I mean, there's quite a few guys that get minutes. We actually only have 9 guys that we can play. So we only have 12 on our roster. 2 of them are redshirting. One hurt his foot, had a stretch fracture in his foot. And so we actually only have 9 guys that can play. But all of them are ready to go every game. And it helps with our depth, and it helps in case somebody isn't quite ready, then you can play somebody else.
And in tournament play, don't you usually slim down the rotation? But with you're deep enough that you can go as deep as you need to. But isn't that what happens in tournament play?
Yeah, I mean, historically we play about 6 guys, but we're just sitting right about that 9 mark. It doesn't mean that we play all 9 every game,
sure,
or that we, play this guy 12 minutes. It's just it's kind of what we need specific to that game with certain guys. Whereas your Mitch and your Bennett Sturts are going to play 40 minutes every game.
You have a long break here. Is that beneficial, or does that also sometimes you wonder about the fact that you have a long break and you get rusty at all?
We'll find out probably Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't really worry about it outside of making sure that the trick is you don't want to maintain. So there's no such thing as that. You either get better or you get worse. Mm-hmm. And so we want to continue to get better and have that mentality rather than a maintain mentality. That just doesn't ever work for anybody. So we're trying to get better right now.
Ben McCollum, head coach at Drake, with us on 365 Sports. Paul?
On Sunday night, you and the team are going to gather together and watch the selection show. Your first one with this group. How excited are you for this moment, not only for your team, but for you and your family and the career, to get to this moment and hear, them say Drake, this seed against this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is pretty neat only because you grow up watching, and you fill out your brackets. And so now my kids, when they fill out their brackets, they'll probably have Drake in the national championship game. So it'd be a heck of a deal.
Tell them you don't need that pressure.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to win, right?
Yeah,
that's the theory. That's what I told my guys the other day in the thing. You're trying to go to the tournament to actually win. That's the objective. And it's so many of these schools go in, well, we're not the ones that are supposed to win. Well, who is? And which game are you going to lose? And so, we're going to go in with a good mindset and see what happens.
The reason I love the NCAA tournament is, like for example, you had Stephen F. Austin. That's my alma mater, and they had a team with Brad Underwood and Kyle Keller that made a decent run. To me, Drake and others, and I'm not trying to say you're Cinderella, but this is why I love the NCAA tournament. What are your thoughts about the expansion of 8 more teams at some point? Is that for others like Drake, or is that going to be just because the bigger conferences get more teams?
Yeah, good question. I think if you do that, if you do expand it, the only way I would probably do it is if you took regular season conference champions from mid-major levels in, because there's really no reward other than pride to winning your regular season. Mm-hmm. And so, I think you'd have to do it like that, not expand it to get a 4 and 16 SEC team in. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think there is still a level of winning that needs to occur. I get it. I get that Power Four is obviously got more resources, bigger, faster, stronger, whatever it may be. But you also have to win games, and so I think that's the way I would do it if I was in charge.
How many button-down shirts do you wear in a season, and how many of them just have to be thrown in the trash or burned?
The end of the year, they get burned. I don't know. Quite a few, probably. I mean, I got quite a few in my closet. It's just white button-downs, and quite a few. I save the ties each year. If we win a national title, I save the ties.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So we won 4, so I've got 4 ties still available to me. But no, I like to make less decisions on game day, and so that's why we choose to do that.
Why did you not go to the jogging suit or polo like everybody else did?
Well, this is no disrespect to anybody that's done that. So this is more just my personal thing. I just feel like if you're in any other profession where you make the amount of money that coaches make at this level, you have to dress professionally and appropriately. And so my thought has always been just a level of professionalism that goes with it. That's just my theory. Now, why do I stick with a blue tie and white shirt? That's just to eliminate decisions. I don't have to try to match colors and stuff like that. It's like already done for me. It's hard to mess it up when you have black pants and white shirt. It's like, man, everything matches with that. So let's go.
You're the absolute opposite of Kim Mulkey.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
I'm not that. I'm not real interested in the show. I'm not. No one's there to look at me. No one's there to look at me. They're there to watch my team.
If you don't mind, one other question. You had incredible success where you were. What took so long for a school at the Division I level to give you a chance, or did you have other chances? It just wasn't the right time.
Oh yeah, we've had other chances throughout. It just wasn't the right time or the right fit. And sometimes the timelines don't match up.
Mm-hmm.
These jobs are a little different now, where everybody's trying to get out ahead, and almost get their coach before the season's done. And I think sometimes the coaches that you really want, a lot of times, are going to be pretty patient and try to really focus on their team, and not have a divided heart. And so, sometimes I'd miss on them like that, or sometimes it would just be, man, I just didn't feel that one. And because I never needed Division I to prove to myself my worth.
Yep.
Like I don't really need that. Like I feel like, I've got a great wife, I've got great kids, I've got a great family, and I'm concerned with them loving me and all that. And so after that, it's great that people show you love, but I don't need it for my self-confidence or anything like that.
Good luck, Ben. It's a great story. Obviously, Drake, I mentioned the long time ago history when I was younger, but also what has happened lately and what you have them doing. And, well, we will be Drake fans the rest of the way. We had Chris Crutchfield on, who was at a junior college that I went to, and now at University of Omaha, and his alma mater, and he's done a great job with them. That's a great story. To me, these are the best stories about March Madness, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris has done a great job. I know him well. They got a great staff, too.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, Ben. Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.
That's Ben McCollum, head basketball coach at Drake